Hello everyone, this is Dr. Mahmoud Al-Odeh and we're continuing with Chapter 6, the rate of return. The last topic that we're going to cover today is the modified internal rate of return, or what we call the MIRR. The modified rate of return is a financial measure that used to be more accurate with the rate of return. So as you know, whenever you have an investment, you would take the money from the bank and you invest it in a project, and the project will start generating money. And later on, over the years, you might need more money, so you would borrow that. So now, to be accurate, to balance the interest rate that you're paying with the revenue that you're generating, you need to do the modified rate of return. So it is a financial measure used to be more accurate to calculate the rate of return by assuming the positive cash flows are invested in a project to generate profits and negative cash flow are borrowed from the bank at specific interest rate. There are different ways for calculating the MIRR, and one of them would be the equations, and another one would be using the Excel. So as you know, the focus of this class is by using Excel, but we're going to show you the two techniques and you can pick what techniques you would pick. We're not going to go focus on the equations part, but I'm going to give you an overview of it. But if you're interested to know more, please connect with me and I would be happy to share more information. So to calculate the MIR step by step, you need to follow these steps. Number one, for the negative cash flows, you need to find the present value at time zero for all the transaction using the borrowing interest rate. So what you do, you separate them separate the positive transaction and the negative transactions. And for the negative transaction, you find the present value for these, and then you find the present value for the positive, and then make the future value, the future worth value, which you calculated from step number two. Actually, I should do numbering here. All right, so number one, again, you separate the negative from the positive transaction. For the negative transaction, find the present value at time zero and using the borrowing interest rate. And for the positive transaction, find the future value for all transaction using the investment rate. And then make the future value from step two equal to the present worth from step one by multiplying f over p, which is you calculate the future value given the present value with unknown I. And then you solve the equation future worth equal to the present worth of f over p, I, and n. And then the n value is equal to the number of years for all the transaction. And then the last step is you compare the MIR with the MARR. If it's higher, then the alternative is economically justified and should be selected and should be considered. If the MIRR less than the MARR, the alternative should be eliminated. The other technique is using the Excel. I love Excel because it's more accurate and easy, and we don't have to worry about all these equations and so on. And this is the beauty of technology, right? What we need to do for the using the Excel function is to use this function. It's called MIRR. There's a function called MIRR, and then you put all the values, and then you add the borrowing rate, what is the interest rate, and comma the reinvesting rate, comma, and close the parentheses, and find out whether the MIR are higher than the MARR or lower, and then based on that you could select which alternative, whether you go with the alternative or not. Here's an example. For the following cash flow, example number 5, for the following cash flow, calculate the MIRR. If the MARR, which is the minimum acceptable rate of return, is 12%, the interest rate for borrowing is 8%, for the reinvestment rate is 15%. Is this project economically justified or not? As you see, we have some positive transaction and negative transaction. So the first thing that you want to do is select build your cash flow, which is basically very much built. So I'm going to switch to Excel here. So you could see. Okay, we built the cash flow. It's built by the question, and then we use the MIRR function and select all the values. And now here for the financial rate, what is the interest rate, which is given to us 8%, and then reinvestment rate. You took the money from the bank to improve your project, and then based on this improvement project, you generated 15%, which is the reinvestment rate. 15%. It's basically you borrow money from the bank and put it in, stock market that pay you 15%. There are so many ways to understand it, but let's call it this way. So by doing this, that would give us a 6.87%, and that would be more accurate. So we can't say that the investment rate or the ROR is 15%, and we can't go say the interest rate is 8%. However, the modified internal rate of return would be 6.87%, and therefore we should we go with this investment? Is this economically justified or not? We have to go and find what is the MIRR, which is the 12%. So the MIRR is 12%. So we're going to compare this with the MIR. As you see, the MARR is more, it's bigger, larger, and therefore what the conclusion would be, if the MIRR less than the MARR, this alternative should be eliminated, and we should write a short sentence here saying this alternative should be eliminated. Because it has a lower MAR, which basically saying, okay, it's better for you to invest your money at a 12% interest rate. That would be easier for you. All right, I hope this is helpful. With this video, we finished the chapter 6. Please, there are more videos on the problems itself, so please watch these videos, and I hope these will help you to understand this topic. As always, if you have a question, reach out to me and I would be happy to answer your questions. Thank you.